when you observe, it's kind of, and this is what kills me because I can't stand third person writing. I feel you should only be focusing on one character, at least at a time, throughout the story. I don't think you should be jumping around because it's too much information, too much detail, and to be quite frank, that's too many voices in your head at once. I don't see how people can do it. I mean, I have probably 5 series that I want to write. And all of them have like 30 plus characters that are in there enough that I have to really remember them and know them and all that. Just imagine having every one of them talk at once. That's hundreds of characters. Yeah, and sadly that does actually happen sometimes, which is why I get migraines. Another reason why, anyway. But I'm not about to tell people, you know, everyday people, yeah, I have so many characters in my head, my brain hurts from them talking. You'd be surprised how much conversation can go on in your head. But as a writer, that's what you deal with. You deal with characters, you deal with personalities, and you deal with a whole bunch of stuff. And to sort through it all takes lots of practice and dedication. And fortunately for me, if I write a book and I complete it, it goes out of the brain. And the other books are still there, but that book's now out of my brain. The downside to this is I have to read my own book to remember what I said and wrote and observed. Talk about fun. Got to read my own book that I just finished to remember what happened, because that's how my brain seems to work. I don't think I'll ever be able to write every book in my head. I'm going to try, but I mean, I don't know. It all depends if life gives me the time to. I would like to. But yeah, so character development is a big touchy one, and it will cause writer's block when you force things. Observe, don't touch. And your stories will come out a lot faster, at least process-wise. And you have the time, because that's the only thing I'm lacking is time. I can pump out books like Middle of Tomorrow if I just had the time. Because the thing is, when it comes to writing, you have to be in a certain headspace. You got to be in a certain environment. It all depends on your needs at the time. And you also have to have you got to keep going. Once you start, you got to keep going. Otherwise, you have to reread things to get back into the moment, especially in a fight scene. And it can take forever writing a fight scene if you keep on stopping, going back. Oh my gosh, it'll take forever. I know, I'm in that zone right now. You got my characters fighting on a gigantic dam with firebirds coming at them, and oh my gosh, I've had to rewrite the same paragraph over and over again because I had to keep on stopping and starting. You know, it's the other trouble of being a writer. You got to be able to sit down and just stay there and write. And it's very hard when your time is so limited, because time flies. Time really does, especially if you're writing a good story that you really are engaged with. That doesn't mean you're writing a great book or anything. It just means you're enjoying the time spending writing that book, which is what I feel is the best part of writing, is when you actually enjoy it. This is why I say there's 5 book series I would like to write, because I have a ton of them. I have some horror ones. I have some spiritual ones that I'm on the fence about. I have plenty of romance of all types, but I don't want to write them. And it's almost like when you have Netflix and stuff like this, and you're like panning through the movies and stuff, and you're like, I don't really want to see that one. Oh, I do want to maybe see that one eventually when I have time to dedicate to it, because it's a big freaking series. Let's watch this one. I've been wanting to watch this one. Unfortunately, unlike Netflix, I don't want to do that with my books. I want to finish it if I start it, because I get lost if I don't. So, even though I have other books I'd rather write right now, because they're really today, I'm still stuck here on book 2 instead of the book 4 I want to write. Because I've actually been in that situation a lot, where I'm writing. When I was writing my first one, I already had the first 5 thought out, and I was like, I really want to write book 3. I don't want to write book 1 anymore, because I kept on having stop, start, and you get uninterested. Because that's the thing about writing too, is if you stop and start so much on one book, you start to hate that book, and you don't want to write it anymore. Talk about irony. You need to get that done so you can get the next book done. Especially if they're in a continuation. It's even worse. Thankfully, my series, the first 2 are very connected. The third one is a little bit, it is slightly featured, but still connected to the third one, to the second one. After that, they're no longer connections. Like, it's the same bloodline, but I have 2 books in the past, and then there are 2 books in the past of that past, and then 3 books in the future of the original 3. And I actually could do another 2, but I don't want to. I want the series to end, because there's 2, 3, 4 others. Yeah. So, fun times. But this is why I've only had writer's block once. That I can find, because I've never been stuck. I can always write a scene. I always can see what's happening. The characters are always fluent. Just going right through it like no tomorrow. I just observe, write down everything that happens, tell it in obviously my way. I've had people read my first book, because I don't advertise my book yet. It's because of part 2 and how long it took to come out. So I want book 2 done. And when book 2 is done, I'm actually going to start promoting my books. The third one is one that definitely needs to get written pretty quick, which I do plan to. But I want the first 2 done so you're not cliffhanging. Because right now, the first book is a pretty good cliffhanger. And I don't like doing that, because I don't know how long it'll take to get it out, and having that kind of pressure while working, having a family and all this other stuff, that I don't need that stress. So I want to get the second book at least done. The second book also is cliffhanger, but it is and it isn't, because the second book can technically be an end. I mean, it all depends if you like my stories or not. I mean, those that like my story, I know will say, I want to see the third book now. And it's great, because I can do it. It's not going to be as long as the other 2. It's more of probably the half page count compared to those. Because I write about 400 pages per book. Actually, I'm not sure about the second book right now. It could be even more than the first book. We used to have limits on how many pages we should write. Like, they go by rule of thumb, like, oh yeah, if you're writing this kind of book, it should be this many pages, and then blah, 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 blah. Because people don't want to read forever, which I've seen books like freaking this thick, so I'm not even gonna, my page count is my page count. If they don't like the page count, they go to hell.